going to make this reveal wheel birthday card. As you can see how cute this is. I love the reveal wheel die. Lawn Fawn do lots of lovely interactive die sets, and this is definitely one of my favourite. So please join me today in this video, and if you do like it and enjoy what you see, please like, share and subscribe. Okay, so we're going to jump straight in. I will show you the products that I'm using first of all. This is my card base, just a small card this time, 10.5 centimetres by 15 centimetres. Perfect size for what we want to do today. I've got some paper here from the Lawn Fawn Hello Sunshine Remix paper pack, and I'm going to use this one which I've cut down to fit onto my card base, and I'm going to use this one for the front of my card, and I've got a couple of scraps here that I'm going to use for some die cutting. I've also got a stack of Lawn Fawn stamps and dies, so we're going to use the Really High Five stamp set along with the coordinating dies. We're going to use the reveal wheel. This is going to be a reveal wheel card today, so we're going to use the reveal wheel die set, and I'll show you how we use that. I'm going to use the circle add-on for the reveal wheel. What else have I got? Some reveal wheel sentiments. I'm going to use Hope Your Birthday is Filled With, and then some of these sentiments here. Haven't decided what yet. I'll decide when we get to that point. And I'm going to use, this is the other reveal wheel sentiments. I'm just going to use this Turn Me at the end. So we're going to start by stamping our images from the from the Really High Five. I'm going to bring in my Misti and stamp these up. So I've got a couple of scrap bits here I'm going to use. What do we want to do today? The bear. So cute, this bear. Love him. And you can actually, I've seen some cards use him that way as if he's swimming, which is great. I love the fact that you can use these stamps and dies to suit whatever you want to make. So we're going to use the bear and the mouse, and I'm going to use the little party hat as well a couple of times. I want to stamp that twice because I want them each to have one of those party hats. So I'll just bring my door over, pick them up, and bring in my Momento Tuxedo black ink, ink up my stamps, and bring those over. Just going to ink them up again. Lovely. And then I want to do the party hat again because I want them to each have a party hat. So I'll just put that party hat there, pick that up and ink it up. And that's all the images I'm going to stamp today. There will be some stamping for the sentiment later on. So what I will do now is go ahead and colour these in. And I will be using my Arteza Everblend markers as usual, and I'll put the lid so you can see what number. So I'll fast forward and I will be back once these are all coloured in. that's all my images coloured in. I'm going to now take the Really High Five matching die set and run these through my Big Shot. So I will be back with them cut out. So my images are now cut out, and I'm going to take some Tombow liquid glue and glue on the party hats, and I'm just doing this to allow them to dry before I come back and do anything else with these images. So tiny bit of glue, she says, as it all comes pouring out of the tub, and glue that little hat on the bear, and the same with the little mouse. Tiny bit of glue and put the party hat on the mouse. How cute! Aren't these just adorable? Love the little party hats. They look like they're having fun. Right, so next I'm just going to wipe down my mat because I've got a little bit of glue on there. So I'm going to set these aside and I'm going to cut out my reveal wheel. I'll show you how that's done. So the reveal wheel is just one of many interactive die sets that Lawn Fawn have. We're going to cut out the front and the wheel mechanism itself, and I'm going to use an add-on. So I'm not going to use the add-on, I want to use that and the big circle. I'll put that away. Then I'll bring out my reveal wheel circle add-on, and I'm going to use this circle add-on. I am going to take this lovely rainbow card from the Hello Sunshine Remix paper pack, and that will be my front. I'm going to take some scrap bluey green cardstock and cut my circles from that, and I'm going to stick down the circle add-on for the front, and I will just take a little bit of purple tape and stick that on so it doesn't move. I want to straighten this up. You don't have to use the purple tape, I just like to have it in the right position for me. Before I run it through my Big Shot. So I will do that now and come back with them all cut out. So here we have them all cut out. I've got the big circle, the small circle which goes on to the back there, and the front of my card. Now this is going to be a card where the bear and the little mouse are holding a balloon, and there's going to be a couple of sentiments on the front. So to get the balloon shape, what I'm going to do is use the Really High Five die set. And in the Really High Five die set we have this die, which is the big balloon, but we also have this circle which goes in the centre and cuts out the exact shape and size of circle you need for the reveal wheel. So it essentially just gives us a balloon frame that we can put on the front. So I will show you how I do that on the Big Shot rather than doing it off screen. I also want a string for my balloon, and I'm going to use this die from the Really High Five again, and some scrap coloured papers that I have. I'm going to use the blue again so it coordinates with the reveal wheel itself, which you will see through the circle. So I'm going to cut those on my Big Shot. So I'll just set these aside for now, and I will bring in my Big Shot, and I'll be using some purple tape again to stick these down. So here's my Big Shot, And I'm just going to take this blue, which is the blue that I had for the reveal wheel, and I'm going to take the balloon die along with the circle die, and I'm just going to place that right in the middle and try and line it up so it's even all the way around. And then I'm going to take some purple tape once I'm happy with positioning and just stick that down. And then I'm going to take my other scrap bit of pink and cut out the string for the balloon. So I run this through my Big Shot, and excuse the noise, it does like to crank and clink and all sorts of noises from the Big Shot, but it's doing its job. That's what it's supposed to do. So I'm just going to set that one aside, and you can see here the lovely pink string. Now that's not going to be long enough for me, so I'm going to cut that out again and then fashion a longer piece of string for my balloon. So I'll cut that, and I'll show you how I do that as well. So there's the second string. I'll set that aside and move my Big Shot out the way. So when I take the purple tape off of this, you will see it gives me a frame for my balloon, and I can put that aside. I can use that as a bit of scrap for something else, for another card. So I'll set those dies aside. I've got my string, I've got my balloon, and I just need to put together my reveal wheel now. So if I bring this back in, and I take the small circle and the larger circle, and I take a mini brad, just a very small brad, and I put those through the small circle and then the large circle, like so. And I open it up so that it attaches. Now on the back here, I want to add some foam squares. So I've got a couple here that I've cut, a little bit too big. You only want the foam tape to be on the small circle, not anywhere else, not on the big circle, not over the brad, the back of the brad, because that will affect how the mechanism works. So I'll just put a tiny little bit of, I just tend to do 3, and that's sufficient. So 3 little bits of foam tape. I'm going to take my backing, and I'm also going to take my front. So on here, I take my reveal wheel, and I'm going to remove the backing of the foam tape so that I can stick it down. So on the front of the reveal wheel, I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's some a big scored circle. The top of that we want to be at the top of our circle here, and the side of it we want to be at the edge here. So if I take the front of my card, and I can see here, there's my scored line. I'm just going to move that to the top. There's my scored line at the side, and move that there. And that's the position that I want it. So I hold that in place, and then I place that down onto my card. Now I want this to be pretty straight and central. Right, and that's where I want it. So once I have stuck the back on, I am going to take my wheel, and I'm just going to mark where the middle is from each side. So from the left side, that's the middle, from the right side, that's the middle, and from the top, that's the middle, and that at the bottom, that's the middle. And I do that because I want to mark where I want my sentence. So I put my front of the card back on. I can see here that that's where the small pencil mark. That's where my first sentiment is going to be, so I draw a circle. I then move the reveal wheel round till I get to my next mark and draw my next circle. And I keep doing that until I've got all 4 done. Now you can have 3 if you wanted. You just separate the wheel into thirds, but I'm going to do 4. So just keep moving it around until I've got my 4 circles, and I'll rub these out. So I'll take the front off there, and then I can take off my big circle so that I can start to stamp my sentiments. And I'll lay that to the side so you can see the small circle still attached. I'll lay that to the side, and I'm going to take my sentiments and stamp those on. So I'm going to take my Misti, and again put my Misti, put this circle into my Misti. Now I've got 4 sentiments here: love, cake, presents and laughter. So I'm going to do presents in the top. Let me just turn this round. So I'm going to put presents there, love here, cake, because every birthday needs cake, and the last one is laughter, and you turn that upside down so it goes in the right direction. So these larger sentiments are bigger than the circle, but that's okay because we're turning it round, so as you turn it you'll see the word is revealed. So I'm just going to pick those up and bring in my Momento Tuxedo black ink. Ink up my sentiments and stamp those down. There. So that's my reveal wheel. I'll set that aside to let it dry before I do anything with it. So I want to rub out those pencil marks. So while that's drying, I'm going to put the sentiment on the front of my card. So I want to say, I'm going to take the Family and Friends stamp set again and put in Hope Your Birthday is filled with, and then the reveal wheel reveals what we want it to be filled with. So I'll just line them up try and get them straight and in the centre. And then I'm also going to take some of the little sentiments from the Really High 5 stamp set, if I can find it amongst. There we go. I've got Yay, which I'm going to put there, and Wee, which I'm going to put there. And just before I stamp those out, I'm going to have a look to see where I want my bear and mouse. So I'm going to move that Yay up a little, and I'm going to bring the Wee down. And that's where I want everything. So I'll remove those. And bring my window over and lift those up. I'm just going to move that to that side. And again, Momento black ink, and ink up my sentiments. Really lovely colourful card this one is. So I'm happy with the way that looks, and I will set that aside. So I'm now going to take the front of my card and stick on the little images. I'm going to take my Tombow liquid glue. Before I do that, I'm just going to stick these two together. I told you before that I was going to fashion a longer piece of string for the balloon. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue here. She says, tiny. And I want to stick this one on the top, like so. Now I'm going to leave that, set that aside to dry, and I'm then going to take my balloon and put some glue around my balloon frame. And stick that onto the front of my card. Now glue is much better for this because, like I said before, you've got the wiggle room to get it in the right position. Okay. And before I go any further, I'm just going to wipe up the excess glue from the back there. So cute! So I'm just going to take this string again, and I'm going to trim off that bit that's sticking out there because I don't want that bit. So that it looks like it's just one long piece of string. And then I can attach that. Now where do I want it? If I attach it here under the little bit of the balloon there, and if I want it there, I want this little guy hanging off here, and the bear hanging off there. So I'm going to stick that down using my glue. Never comes out when you want it to, does it? Or too much comes out when you don't want it to. So I'm just going to put that under there, and I'll stick that down in a second. Oops. My fingers are all sticky. So I want him there and him there. So I'll stick that down. And then I'm going to take my mouse and put glue all over the back of him. Now you could take some foam tape and stick these down. Because I'm going to have some foam tape on the back of this front piece, I don't want it to be too high. So I'm just going to put this little guy down there, and then do the same with the bear. Some glue on the back of the bear. And put him on there like that. So I'm just going to turn it over and flatten it so that I get it all stuck down nice. And that's me done with the glue. So I'm going to set that aside and bring back in my big wheel and rub out the pencil marks all over this. So I can now attach this back onto the brad. like so. Close that over. And then I can attach the front of my card. So I'm going to now put some foam tape on the back of this so that I can stick it onto back there. Now I just need to be careful of where the mechanism's going to be. So I'm going to make my tape nice and thin on the edges. Well, that was a perfect size. I didn't even measure that. So I'm going to now take the backing of my foam tape and attach my front to the back. Now there is another way of doing this, which is to cut another one of these shapes out. So the same shape as with the front of my card, but without the reveal wheel, without the circle in it. So it's just this rectangle shape with the edge cut out, and that's your backing. So you would stick your reveal wheel onto the back of that, and then this would go on top. But on this occasion I just made things a little bit more difficult for myself. So I can see the scored line again and the scored line at the side. I'm going to put that love at the top so I can see that through. Okay, so now that that's stuck down, we can see if it works, and it does. Woohoo! So I'm going to leave that there, and then stick this to my card. So as I said before, that's the same size as my card, and I'm just going to put some glue on the back of here, and that's our card all finished. Put it in the middle. I'll just put that on the edge. And I'll turn it over and just put my hand there. And actually it's not finished because I need to stamp here to say turn me. So I've got one of the reveal wheel sentiments stamp sets, which is called Reveal Wheel Sentiments, and it's got a little turn me stamp inside. So I'm just going to take that, ink it up with my Momento black ink, and stamp that on there. Like so. So you can see that the recipient needs to do something with it. So that's our card done for today. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, share and subscribe, and please add any comments to the bottom of this video. Always looking for ideas or opinions on how you think my videos, I could improve them. So please do get in touch, and I hope you will join me again for my next video. Thank you, bye!